My name is Brian Porter. I'm the principal of Touro Architect. I was born and raised on Six Nations of the Grand River. The elementary school on the reserve, first at Old Number 1 School and then J.C. Hill School for grades 7 and 8. Went to Cayuga for high school. And at the time we knew we had a choice of Caledonia, Hagersville, Brantford. So the reason I chose Cayuga was I liked their technical program. Between that, kind of the industrial arts program in grade 7 and grade 8, and then going to Cayuga and going through that program really got me kind of interested in the field of architecture. So I kind of made the decision around grade 11 that that's kind of what I wanted to do. And I was always kind of interested in mathematics, but I was also interested in drafting and construction. So architecture seemed to be kind of a good convergence of those two kind of interests. I went to the University of Toronto. I graduated with a Bachelor of Architecture. And in September, I started a placement back then it was called Indian Affairs. It's Indigenous Services Canada now. So I worked at their Ontario regional office for a year. And I used to tell people I kind of worked there as a spy, right? Because at the time they were providing a lot of services to communities. If there was a school that was going to get built, if there was a band office, they were administering it from that office. So I got to learn how they identified capital projects and how they got delivered. So that was pretty valuable experience. I consider that to be a pretty critical milestone. After that, I finished off my internship at a firm in Brantford called Mark Musselman McIntyre Coombe. With me being there, we were able to secure work on the Emily C. General School, the I.L. Thomas School. So those were really, really good projects to learn from. I think one of the biggest challenges, and this is something that's been talked about, ever since I remember entering the industry, was the lack of businesses that are located on the community to secure any kind of lines of credit. So for the volume of work that we're doing, my line of credit should probably be somewhere in the $400,000, $500,000 range, right? But because the banks can't repossess any of my assets and collateral, I've had to negotiate with the bank, and right now I think my line of credit is about $80,000. Makes it difficult to do business from an on-reserve location. Well, I think some of the stuff, it's a little bit cliche, but I think the whole notion around finding something that you really like, I think still holds true. Like I tell people all the time that I've never worked a day in my life, right? The other thing that I don't think a lot of young people do enough of is find a strong mentor, someone that can give you advice, somebody that can help you and guide you without obligation, right? Where they're really they want to see you do well, want to share their experience. But I do see it in other fields where there will be somebody and I know that there's a person in the community that could help them, but sometimes they're just a little bit hesitant to kind of ask for help. I think lastly, my advice would be, when we grow up on the reserve, there's a lot of administration type things that we don't have to be concerned with, like filing tax returns or kind of understanding the way that zoning bylaws work and things that are kind of a part of doing business in mainstream communities. So we're a little bit sheltered from that. I think sort of understanding how political frameworks work, trying to get exposed to that at an earlier age, I think is something that would be helpful too.